Hello?
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you.
Okay. I think I'm streaming already, so we can just like start right away, okay?
Oh, cool.
All right. All right.
Cool.
This is unveiling and introducing a new segment today, I guess, right? Our own Wonku Lee is going to be, checking in every couple of weeks, to do kind of a rookie ladder thing. What do you think? We'll talk about like how the rookies are doing because the draft is like big point of emphasis for our league like this year and last year. So I thought it'd be
hmm
pretty interesting
hmm
to kind of like track um how everybody is doing because first round rookies they come in with a second year built in, right? So I think more than ever it's pretty important to, nail that first round pick. And if you have a bad one, it could carry over to the next year in terms of, ramifications. Um, So yeah, I mean, do you have any thoughts about what you're planning on, giving out some hot takes and stuff, I guess, right?
yeah, sure. I guess I could. Um, I do like the rookies. That is part of a big part of my process
Mm-hmm.
in terms of going through fantasy football. As I'm sure a lot of people know, I've been a part of a Devi league
Devi,
before.
I mean, you introduced the
So
term the
so
term
so
Devi League to us. We were like, what the fuck is a Devi
yeah
League? And you were like,
yeah.
oh yeah, it's
I'm
something
no
I do.
longer a part of there.
Okay, but I
Yeah, I'm no
mean,
longer a part of there. It's too much work.
the roots the
But
roots the roots still live on in our league now. I think it's not the
yeah, I guess
same
so.
level of like having college players early on, but there is a little bit more of a draft and stash component to our league now. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
I thought it'd be like nice to, it's just nice to talk like rookies and young players with you in general, because you generally have pretty big opinions and are kind of tracking what a lot of the young guys look like. And even a year or two in advance, you might know about some guys a little bit more. So yeah, I thought it'd
Yeah,
be.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so
Um,
we can just start with the first overall pick. I think on YouTube
wow, look at that. I see
right.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
turned it
Dude,
on. Wow, it looks good.
AI Figma.com.
Oh, let's go.
Literally, I was
Oh,
like,
that's amazing.
yeah, come up with like
Whoo!
generate a graphic for me, like with
I
these
love
like
it.
components. And then like each time it does it, you look at it and you're like, okay, like actually make me a field for um
Yeah, do this. Right,
yeah,
right, 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 right.
like the opponent and stuff, like, and whatever I want to like keep adding. And then like this is, yeah,
Ooh,
it was so much easier to like kind of build this template and then like just fill in certain parts
I
that I had
see.
to do. So yeah, I mean, let's get started. Ashton GNT, first overall pick. Yeah, so these are the stats. What do you think about what you've seen out of GNT so far this year?
Honestly, I haven't really watched too much of Genti, but um, I think he's pretty good. I think just in general, before like I haven't watched too much of the
Hmm.
Raiders
Yeah, yeah,
film
yeah.
actually,
Fair.
but he's a really good player, right? He's got it all. Like I don't think there's really any weakness in his game. He's home run hitter.
Hmm.
He's good between the tackles. He's very strong.
Hmm.
Great contact balance. I think.
Yep.
Like I think I think he's got it all. I think he's very deserving of the number one overall pick. Pretty easy selection here for Orange County. I do think one limiting factor for him
Hmm.
is not his talent. It's more the system that
Yep.
he's in, or maybe the environment that
Hmm.
is in, I would say, right? Like I think, and that's what we're seeing. We
Hmm.
see the fantasy points of 11, 6, 7. He hasn't had his big game yet,
Yep.
but I do think he'll have one pretty soon. It's just about their usage and how Pete Carroll doesn't especially like to use one guy all the time.
Yep. So for me, there are a couple of things I did notice. I watched like a game and a half maybe of like, not that closely, but it's been on and I've been paying attention. Um, One, his pass protection has been kind of like up and down. I think um sometimes he doesn't seem like he knows exactly what the play is, and I think that could just be like a new system, and the system isn't built around him quite as much as I think the Boise State one was. So, like Boise State, like pretty much every play
Yeah,
was like,
true.
oh yeah, like yeah, the ball's getting to me somehow, and I just need to remember like what that is. I think at the NFL level, he's no longer like the main guy. It's kind of like a superstar basketball player having to go to a team where he's no longer like the lead like ball handler all the time, and you have to like kind of figure out, okay, like how do I stay in my own rhythm? How do I stay ready and do all my other responsibilities even if I'm not getting the ball like, every down like he was in college. I think that's like been one of the bigger adjustment periods for him, but not something that I see like holding him back, right? It is something that I think he is adjusting to, and that's probably part of why he's been a little bit slow. And I think the offensive line, and the system hasn't really helped him out either. I think those things
Hmm.
could improve throughout the year, right? So like, there isn't really anything concerning about him. I think like long term, like if you thought GNT was you know a great tackle breaking runner, that can create a lot of like big plays and stuff. I won't change my mind on any of that yet. Like it has been a slow start though, right? Um,
Yeah, I agree. I,
mm,
I think he will have a slow start, by the way.
yeah.
So Duo, be patient, right? Don't
Hmm.
don't trade this guy away just because he's not performing immediately to the super high standard that I think a lot of the fantasy community put on him.
For sure.
He's going to be a little up and down this year.
Yep.
It's not going to be like one of the premier
Yeah.
rookie running backs seasons that we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I again think it's actually more the Raiders. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Either way, yeah. They're coming into a new like coaching staff. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
like new stuff, and with like preseason being kind of like really useless, I think teams more than ever are gonna take like 2 3 weeks, sometimes even like half a season to kind of get settled into like, oh, okay, like our timing on like these like block schemes and stuff. Like it's gonna take a while to come together. So, um, I mean, it's a good sign for Orange County that they're 2-1 even with kind of a slow start
Yeah.
for GNT, and
True.
because they were definitely expecting GNT to be you know a contributor right away, and he has. But yeah, I think better days coming up. Um, Okay, so next, this is all random order, so we'll just run with the random order. Like I don't think it matters too
Oh,
much.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Okay, so the seventh pick overall,
Surprise.
Cam Ward, only quarterback taken in the first round. Um, hasn't started yet in the HFFL. So I think that was good by Madison to kind of come into the season not relying on the rookie to perform right away, right? Because like especially this draft class, but I think in general it's yeah, you do have to be a little bit patient with how much I think time you give for most rookies to, it's great if they hit the ground running, but I don't think anybody should ever be like, oh yeah, this guy like, I'm gonna pencil in for, RB1 or like QB1 like right away, right? So, have you seen any of Tennessee's games? Like, have you seen Cam Ward play yet?
Again, I've just been watching a lot of Red Zone, so I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah.
in depth, right? I
Uh,
can't tell you in depth, but I think he's pretty good. Like from what I've seen in the NFL,
mm-hmm.
he's again not perfect, and I
Yep.
think he's young, but he'll learn and grow into the system that they have there. I think I can think like I think his talent is great.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked him coming in.
Yeah.
I think he's a great quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just very solid. And actually, one thing I want to say is he had so little hype actually as a what number one pick, right? Number one pick of the
Yeah,
draft.
yeah,
He
yeah,
had like no
yeah,
publicity
yeah.
as that. But again, I think his team, his real life team, is gonna do him in. Like
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think the Titans. Like I'm really
Yeah.
sorry, Jay, but their coaching is
Their head
god
coach,
awful.
yeah, I don't think
So
their head coach is it.
it's yeah, like it's just so bad that I think it's going to affect him again, and I think it's going to be an up and down season for Cam Ward
Yeah.
as well.
Here's what I noticed, like from the little I've seen of him. I think, the way he navigates, like, you know, his elusive like mobility and stuff. Like, I really like it. I think it's closer to like Jaden Daniels in that like he'll sometimes keep the play alive. Sometimes he'll, tuck it and run. He's not as like one track, I think, as like, Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. I think they kind of like predetermine what they plan to do in terms of running or buying time. Whereas I think Cam Ward and Jaden Daniels are really good at like kind of taking what folds out in front of them. What I think Cam Ward is actually kind of weak at is a problem with I think a lot uh of the younger quarterbacks this year these days. It's he doesn't really take anything off his throws ever. He's always fucking like laser
Oh
beaming
yeah,
it. Like
that's right. That's
it
right.
he throws a very, his arm strength is really good when he shows it off. But like there are so many times I think like if he learns to put a little bit of touch on his throws, I think, you know, regardless of the offensive system itself, I think he'll already start improving, right? So that's probably what I would watch going forward in the next like, half a year or whatever. Like see if, he's developing, different velocities of his throw. It is something that I think could really unlock him, even if his uh supporting cast isn't super good. But I do agree, like, yeah, it doesn't look like he's in a great position to succeed, and that might be the big difference between him and like a Jaden Daniels season last year. But long term, I think it's a very promising prospect.
Yeah, I think just one more thing that I add is I think most of us have seen it. His off script ability is
Yep.
really really good.
Yep.
It's really good when things break down. Needs to create on his own. I think on the flip side, and sometimes again, a lot of young QBs are like this. Because they're so athletic,
Hmm.
they can rely on that and they try to make a play, but they don't take the easy stuff at times. And
Yep.
so I think
Yeah.
he's going to learn that again. Yeah, we'll see if Tennessee can teach him that. That's
That's
where we
true. Yeah.
are. But we'll
Even
see.
even a good quarterback prospect, I think, can a lot of times be ruined by, supporting cast, coaching staff.
Yeah.
These are formative years, and he might not be getting the best quality, you know, development. But yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out.
Be
Uh,
patient. Be patient, Alex.
yeah, I think there's another guy to be patient on. Okay, so now into a different late round pick, RJ Harvey. Have you seen any of RJ Harvey, or is it again most? I mean, I think a lot of us are mostly watching Red Zone, so
Right,
we
right.
don't have a ton of like deep insight on a lot of these guys, especially only 3 weeks in. But um, yeah, I mean, what's your read on Harvey, if any?
I think he's a good player. He's pretty exciting, right? I think
Yep.
he's got a lot of juice. He was pretty exciting week one. Yeah, I think that was that one really long rush that he
Mhm.
had.
Mhm.
Um, he hasn't had too many opportunities though,
Mhm.
so I think that's maybe what's limiting him right now. But I like the player. He was pretty good coming in. What is he? Pick eight? Yeah, his I guess bottom half of the draft, but he's definitely a first rounder. Really in the HFFL, and he's a really really good player. I think
Yep.
again, yeah,
I
not much
yeah.
to say there.
I,
Yeah,
I I think what kind of like I guess is gonna hold him back is that I think J.K. Dobbins is like actually like too too good to like for Sean Payton and the Broncos to justify like putting more on RJ Harvey's plate, even if he can handle it, right? Like
yeah.
Dobbins' health is like the main issue, but even last year, he showed that he's still like a pretty good running back when he's healthy. And maybe he does get hurt again this year, but I think barring an injury, as talented as Harvey is, you can't really justify like, just forcing him into action. So this I actually really like this pick, like, pretty late. I think this is one of the guys that has pretty good upside, like in terms of like, how he moves, like what kind of like skill set he has, and I like long term how he might fit into that offense. I just think J.K. Dobbins is probably too decent.
Yeah, he's good enough, right? He
Yeah,
does the job. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
I mean, I have him. That's part of the
Exactly. Yeah.
reason why
But I mean, yeah,
I
fantasy
drafted him. I
fantasy
think he's
community is
pretty good.
always
So
always ready to turn the page on like, oh yeah, like
yeah,
J.K. Dobbins isn't the new hotness, but I think of the guys that are kind of like sharing with a lot of the running backs, the rookie running backs like Ramondre Stevenson, Najee before he got hurt. Like I think J.K. Dobbins
right.
is pretty comfortably the most talented guy out of those guys. So, um, I think that's probably what RJ Harvey is going to have to contend with, and it's not really a sign of how good he is compared to like a Trevion or some other guys that are going to be thrust into a role a little bit quicker. I think.
Yep, agree. Yet again, another case of being patient.
Yeah, I wonder when we're going to start panicking about any of these guys.
Any of these? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next pick, the last pick of the first round, Emeka Egbuka. I have seen a little bit of this guy because I have Baker and
Oh
they've been
yeah.
they've been on national TV a good amount and they play the Jets. So yeah, I caught a decent amount. But what do you think of Egbuka so far?
Oh, he's a gamer. I mean, this guy is making big plays all over the place. I think that I have to be honest, I don't think I liked him too much
Mm-hmm.
actually coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought he had some issues at times with his hands, but no, no, there's no issues here. Like he's legit and he's making big play after big play. Especially I think the thing that won me over is his boundary play.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he had that in his game, and so yeah, seeing those plays especially in the last week has really really changed my opinion of him.
Yeah, Egbuka's a guy that I kind of went back and forth on too. Like he was so productive in college, and it's
Yes.
obviously a great wide receiver program that rarely has any fails. But like I think the role kind of scared me. Like that, Tampa Bay, they had McMillan last year before he got hurt, and Godwin obviously is coming back from injury, and Evans probably not too much time left in his career, but like still was Pro Bowl last year. That it just you just didn't know if he was going to be able to contribute in the first half, or not, and for some guys like Harvey, like if there's no injury in front of you, sometimes you are going to have to wait your turn. And Egbuka, the Godwin, coming back slowly, and McMillan hurting his neck, I think, really just kind of uh, gave him that role right away. And to his credit, like he took it a lot uh, like better and quicker than I thought he would. So um, yeah, I mean, if there was a redraft right now, there's no way he's lasting to the 10th pick.
Oh yeah, no
He
way.
passes the
Yeah.
eye test. He's in a competent offense with a young enough QB where like there really aren't too many long term concerns. Like I think this is maybe the best pick of the first round so far. 3 weeks in.
Yeah, again, I haven't seen him used like that. That's the thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think I was and maybe that's just well, the Ohio State and all
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And now in Tampa Bay, he's being
Yeah.
put into this opportunity. He looks really really good
Yeah. I
again
think
on the
yeah
mound.
that
And like
that's like the biggest
man,
places you can like get like a real steal is like it's not that like he couldn't do it in college. It's just like, oh,
yeah,
like we didn't need you for that, and we have other guys for that, and like those are the guys that like slip through the cracks, and you're like, oh, like this guy is so good. Like how, like I think Justin Jefferson was. I mean, he was dominant in college too, but like I think like I wasn't as sure he could win so dominantly on the outside
yeah,
consistently too. And then like he
yeah,
just gets to the
yeah,
pros and it's like, oh, he doesn't need the slot to necessarily like he just wins everywhere. Okay, like I wasn't sure of that, but like he is, So could be
yeah.
a similar situation here and honestly picking a Ohio State or LSU wide receiver seems,
Safety.
fairly profitable, yeah.
Yeah, I could tell he had like really good yak abilities, right?
Mhm.
I thought he was really good there. It kind of yeah, it just again like didn't know that the contested catch
Yeah.
ability too.
Wow.
So yeah, crazy.
Yep. All right, and then next is the sixth pick, the only tight end taken in the first round. Yeah, he started every week, in the HFFL.
Wow.
Pretty good scores for a tight end and a rookie, right? Like What do you think of how he's looked so far?
He's been pretty good, and I think their offense, the Colts offense, has done a really good job of
Hmm.
highlighting this guy.
Yeah.
Right, I think they get him open really easily,
Hmm.
and so he's been taking advantage of it.
Hmm.
I think coming in, I have to say, I actually wasn't too impressed by this guy.
Hmm.
Like I almost was to the point where I didn't really get it. Like I didn't
Hmm.
get why he was first rounder.
Yeah.
Um, but because I what I saw was a lot of yeah, I thought again, it's like the way he catches it is not the greatest,
Hmm. Hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought his route running was a little bit weak,
Yeah.
and he just seemed a little bit soft to me.
Hmm.
But to be fair, though, like I think he probably has one of the highest ceilings, though.
Yeah.
Right? I think he
Yeah.
could potentially be like a Gronk type. I mean, he's great at blocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't know if he had this kind of production in him.
Yeah. Yeah, for me too. Like I wasn't sure if he was gonna, win in his matchups like at the
Yeah,
NFL level.
yeah,
I did think
yeah,
like,
man, man,
oh,
yeah,
he's a guy that'll do well if you like, scheme him up like good enough looks and he plays, hard and smart, So um that's what I was worried about, but it turns out like he landed in a really good offense, I think, to like kind of keep that kind of same like when I watch him and Bowers play, I think Bowers wins like a wide receiver against like DBs a lot of
I
times.
was just smooth. Yeah,
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 like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, these DBs can't like guard him even if they like try, right? But like for Warren, I think Steichen, I think we forgot, how good he is because he's been saddled with
Agreed.
old ass like uh, Matt Ryan and dumb ass Anthony Richardson. But he's a very good offensive coordinator that knows how to get the
Yeah.
ball to
Yeah, I said that last year. I remember.
yeah,
I was like, pick people from the Colts. They got a good offense because I
yeah,
thought he was a good offensive coordinator, but I
yeah,
forgot
yep.
that
People
Anthony
people
Richardson's
yeah,
a
I think
dummy.
people did sleep on it a
Well, I
bit.
thought he was good, but
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's easy when
yeah,
Ant Rich is kind of messing up all your offense. Like it. Yeah, I think Tyler Warren landed in like the perfect spot to contribute right away, and um, I think if people didn't doubt like how good Steichen was, like because people weren't sure this offense was going to be good, but um, I think it kind of just shows how bad Anthony Richardson was. That Dan Jones is coming in and looks so competent, and Tyler Warren is a big part of how they scheme up like easy layup like throws for Dan Jones, and Tyler Warren, um, his ability to block and everything. Like he's going to be very good, and um, not like he might not have been this good if he landed in a different spot where they use him differently and they try to get him to like just win routes to like open the game up for everyone else. But if you can kind of like not feed but like give him opportunities to like have an advantage already in coverage or whatever, then I think he's going to be really good. So this I think
yep,
is another really good first round pick that has a lot of long term potential because he's really cheap for where he was drafted, and tight end. If you can find a nice young one, like you can definitely kind of build around that for I think a few years. And Yonkers, I think last year saw their Bowers pick turn into a championship. So it's definitely I think if you can hit a guy like young and early, like it can really kind of stabilize your team for a good window. I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, these guys at Williston Park, they know
Yeah, they know
he
their
knows what
tight.
he's
Yeah,
doing
they
with the
know the
tight end.
tight ends.
But yeah, maybe I should be doubtful of my tight end uh tops here looking at him. But yeah, seriously, I had no idea. I didn't really think he was that good. But he's proving me wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Um. Okay, so the second overall pick, Travis Hunter. I remember before the draft, I was personally expecting Virginia to go somewhere else with this pick. Were you surprised when
Right?
they made this pick, or was this kind of like what you expected? Yeah, what would you think of it before the pick was actually made?
No, I thought this was really, really unexpected for
Hmm.
me. Like I was shocked.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So, okay, so just to give a little bit of background, I
Hmm.
had the fourth pick, right?
Yep.
So I'm trying to do projections of like what the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
three picks will look like,
Yep.
and I thought Hunter may fall to me,
Hmm.
right? Uh, just thinking about what could happen, but maybe Hunter goes third. I had no scenario
Hmm.
where Hunter
Yeah.
goes second
Same. Same.
to 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 Virginia.
Yeah.
Like I just penciled in Hampton.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Me
I don't
too.
know. I'm not sure what the difference was this year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I do want to hear from Paul eventually. Maybe he'll be on the show sometime, or maybe he'll just tell
Sure.
us in chat. But like, yeah. I wonder how that decision went down. Like, what were the factors he was weighing? I do think maybe he was trying to avoid the popular Zord strategy because he does have McConkey and Herbert, and maybe he was like I don't want too much of my team to be focused on the Chargers being uh good, or like did you have Travis Hunter? What do you think of him as like a straight up wide receiver like talent? Like do you think he's like worthy of a second overall pick like in a vacuum, like regardless of who's like out there? Like is he, how does he compare to some of the previous wide receiver prospects in your eyes?
Ooh, the previous ones. I think he's pretty good, right? I don't
Uh-huh.
think he's. I think he. I think in this draft he could be. I think he is. He is one of the better ones,
Hmm.
uh, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think he's as good as say like a Jamar Chase or
Yep.
anything like
Yep.
that. Like I don't think he's at that level
Hmm.
personally, but
Yeah, I think he's right
I think he's pretty solid. Yeah.
in between that like Jamar Chase type of wide receiver prospect, and then like the the level after that. Like he's definitely a step under the Jamar Chases, but I
Yep.
see why he was mocked as like the top wide receiver prospect in this draft. I this is what
No, yeah,
I've
he's good.
this
Yeah.
is what I've seen from Hunter. I think he's kind of like GNT in just the sense that like in college he was read one, read two, read three. Like he was the guy, right? And like I think a lot
Hmm.
of young guys that kind of come from like slightly worse competition and they just get leaned on a ton and they just kind of like get into the rhythm of like I don't have to worry about opportunities. I'm going to keep getting, my chances, right? So like it's a lot easier to stay in rhythm and stuff, and I think from what I've seen like Hunter has kind of had some moments where you can definitely tell he's like a little frustrated he's not getting um the ball as regularly, like they're just it's just not the same level of play where they can kind of like just win games based on like your rapport with the QB. Just like you and me, like we'll figure out this win, right? Which I think a lot of his Shador Sanders like dynamic was. It was just like, yeah, like we're gonna just figure out a way to like you know work our way through this game between you and me, and like we'll do our best to win, right? But now he's kind of having to fit in more as a cog in a system, and I mean he's also trying to play defense. Like there's a lot on his plate, right? So it's not surprising that he's had
Yeah.
some of these slow games. I think the biggest like maybe long-term concern I would have here is like it may be possible that I think a lot of people thought Liam Cohen was a bit more of a sure thing than I think he might be. Like people kind of assumed, oh, he was the reason that Tampa Bay hit a new level last year. He was the reason that people were expecting the Jags to break out and Trevor Lawrence to have his best year and like all that. I do think he's like a pretty decent offensive coordinator, but I don't think that always means that it's going to be a success as a head coach or in a different situation with different pieces, and maybe the quarterback isn't it. Like I think there's a lot more uncertainty there than I think some people might have been looking at. So if Jacksonville continues to be kind of a subpar offense, uh, it kind of feels like an overdraft at two maybe, just because there's just not a lot of room to like underperform and still get a lot of value out of the second pick. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I think it's all relative, right? Like I
mhm,
do think he is the best receiver.
mhm.
I do think again with the rankings of other players, he probably could go second. I think at a fair value. The problem is that he could be used on the defensive
Yeah,
side, uh, maybe even more than
yeah.
what he's
I
been
was yeah,
being currently used.
I was thinking this like, how funny would it be if midway through the season they determine, okay, like he's just simply a much better defensive player than an offensive player.
Well, he is.
He is.
Yeah, I think he is.
He certainly has been so far, and I think even as a prospect, I think I think he's the way he played cornerback was like more outstanding to me than his wide receiver play was good, but like I think part of it was just like the offensive system being kind of built around him and stuff too. Um, but yeah, like isn't imagine if mid-season he gets like moved to DB full time, and then he has a keeper year for next year, but he the player could just evaporate if next year he goes in as a
Jesus.
DB. Yeah, it's like I
Oh God.
right like he could be in that situation, right? So I think that's the reason I was so surprised that he went second overall. Like talent wise, sure he might be as talented as really anyone in this draft. But there's a lot of uncertainty. He could get hurt on defense. He could turn out to be just a full-time defensive player. Um, there's just a lot of moving parts. So I was pretty surprised that this was the pick at two.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we'll see as usual. He's not performing.
Yeah.
Is the bottom line right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Definitely underperforming so far.
yeah,
Okay, so the fifth pick, this is my pick, Ted McMillan. Um, he's actually been stuck on my bench like this whole time because wide receiver is like the one position I don't really need depth so far. So he's actually been pretty decent, but hasn't played so far. What do you think of Ted?
I think he's good. I'm not sure if he went really high in the draft. I don't think he
Hmm.
merited that kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
draft
This was just
capital
not
from the
that
Panthers.
strong of a draft. Yeah, in terms of wide receiver
Yeah,
talent.
he went super high, but
Yep.
to me, he's a little he's good. He's a great player. He's
Hmm.
like one of those like old school big
Hmm.
receivers. Play him in the X, throw jump balls, that kind of thing. He can be a little stiff though. I
Hmm.
mean, that's just what comes with some of the big body stuff.
Yep.
And then the other thing I'd say is sometimes he gets a bit lazy with his
Hmm.
catch point. Like he does some weird he does some weird things with his hands, but overall, I think he's a great player. I think they are giving him a lot of opportunities. You could see it 9 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets. He's gonna see that kind of volume, and with
Yeah.
that, that's gonna translate into production.
Yeah. I think that helps a lot. Before the draft, I thought he to me he didn't play strong enough for how big of a wide receiver he is, and
Yeah,
he wasn't really quick
100%.
enough because he's big, right? So like I was a little bit
Yep.
worried, like, oh, this guy could kind of just be a guy out there, and he still isn't the most explosive guy. I mean,
No,
he's
he's
pretty
not.
tall, but
No.
he has looked a little bit more like wiggly and fluid than I thought he would. You're right, because I saw a lot of the stiffness in his tape, and I was like, oh, this guy could kind of just be like a boring athlete that kind of tops out at like like decent wide receiver too, and like doesn't really do much more. But he after the catch, he has looked a little more wiggly than I thought he would in college. Like still not like a guy that's like a game breaker, but just enough where um I might revise my ceiling to a little bit higher, right? But I think
Yep.
overall, like, the same, I think Reed uh is what we're saying. Like, he's good. Um the traits aren't elite in any one way because he's big, but he's not strong, right? So like he's gonna have to he's not gonna like just dominate ever, right? So I think it is good that he's getting lots of opportunities early and like it's much better for this kind of guy to hit the ground running so he can like at least get to like what he can be fairly early because if he was a slow developing guy, I agree he doesn't have like the top end speed or the dominant jump ball skills like he's just not that kind of player. But I think for where he was drafted in the HFL, like pretty good depth, good value. Certainly should be, I think, worth uh his 14 next year, barring injuries or complete fall off. Like it's just nice to have like a pretty high floor, um guy that has a role. So uh
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that's true. High floor, maybe not as big of a ceiling, but
yeah,
I think he's going to be solid, and he's good for some really athletic plays as well. I think there
yeah,
was
yeah. He
one
will
catch
make
on
some
the
like
sideline.
yeah some
It wasn't even a catch that
yeah
counted,
yeah
but he, like, one hand catched it. It was incredible.
yep
It was on Red Zone. Pretty sure
yeah
we all
yeah
saw that.
yeah. They showed it even though it wasn't a catch. That was
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
pretty funny. Okay. Our next guy, third overall pick. We kind of talked about it a little bit with Virginia taking Travis Hunter. This is the guy that I thought they would take, Omarion Hampton.
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
They've been on national TV a bunch, so I think we've probably seen a little bit of him at least. Any thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I talked a little bit about him. Like, I honestly did not get it about this guy as well. Like, he seemed like a jag to me.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Harlem, but he really did not impress me. I think he doesn't have that great vision either. Like, I think he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really accelerate. Like, I don't understand personally. Um, yeah, I'm
No,
sorry.
don't apologize. Say it strongly and
I'll keep
proudly.
going. I'm just gonna say
This guy's a
some
bum.
bad. I'm just gonna keep going with the negativity.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's that good. Is really my
Mhm,
take.
mhm. So yeah, that's my that's kind of my take too. Like I do think his tape was he looks stiff, and he's
Yeah,
stiff and he doesn't have like the top tier like even straight line like explosiveness or speed. And he doesn't he's not a really great vision guy like where he consistently just finds like the right hole. Uh so that's the negative. I think the positive is he's not going to be a complete bum. I don't think. Like he's like decent enough where I think he'll stick around in the league, and they invested enough in him
sure,
and
sure.
have a
Yeah,
good enough offense around him. And now he has a huge role where I think this is actually going to turn out to be a pretty good pick, right? But like if this guy landed in Las Vegas or a team with like a worse offense and offensive line. This is the guy I would have picked to be like a complete bust because I think he's just too stiff to create like too much of his own stuff. He doesn't capitalize too well on like what he is given, um, but he isn't terrible. Like he doesn't completely like underperform what he is given. He kind of I think he just landed in the perfect spot to get good production out of him. So, I'm not knocking his pick at all. I think I would have taken him probably second overall, even though I don't think he's um super talented just because he's kind of another high floor guy, especially in this
yes,
team's environment. Like in this team's environment,
that's exactly it.
yeah,
Yeah,
especially with Najee hurt, like this could end up being, one of the best picks of the first round. Even if pure talent wise, like you stick them all like on the same exact team situation and stuff. I saw a lot of like, the stiffness and like the unimaginative, like I was like, why is this guy like being hyped, that much? Like he doesn't look like a necessarily a first round talent. Like I was like, this
that's exactly it. Yeah,
yeah.
sorry to hate, right? Like, I think if he was going a little bit later,
Yeah,
it would have been fine.
yeah,
But going in the first round like
yeah,
that, I think you nailed it. Like, he's got a high floor. He'll do the thing where if the offensive coordinator needs 3 yards, he'll get the 3 yards.
yeah,
Like, he'll just
yeah,
do the thing. He
yeah.
won't give you negative plays. He
And
won't give you the
to
big play either.
yeah, to his
But
credit, that's kind of partially what Harbaugh probably wants. He wants to stay,
yeah, that's
ahead
true
of
actually.
schedule,
Yeah,
get the tough
good
enough
point.
yards. Yeah, like so I do think
Yeah,
he landed in a great spot, and I don't think he was overdrafted in the HFL. Like role plus situation. I think that was a solid pick at three overall. But I think we do somewhat agree on what kind of player he is as like a pure talent.
yep.
Okay, second to last one. This one's your guy. Uh,
Oh,
a lot of blank space on this this graphic. Like,
go. Let's go.
there's a lot. It looks a little bit emptier than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
You traded down to ninth, right? Like, do you remember? Can you
Yes.
say what the trade was? Like, I forgot what you. Uh,
Yeah, I got Ricky Pearsall
oh, okay.
for
I mean, yeah.
the fourth pick.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So sorry, I gave up the fourth pick for Ricky Pearsall, and I
And
took the
nine. Yeah.
ninth pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll say what I've seen of him. Um,
yeah, go for it.
Again, this wasn't a guy that I thought was super talented either. Like I honestly didn't think this draft really in a lot of places didn't wow me like in terms of the
Yeah, yeah,
highlight reels.
I hear you.
There's been
Yeah,
previous
same.
years where I'm like, oh man, this guy could really be like, something really good, and like, I get really excited. Like, a lot of the guys I watched this year were like, okay, I mean, this guy looks all right, I guess, and then, uh, so for that reason, like I kind of understand the Caleb Johnson pick at nine. When you're not dealing with like surefire like electric talents at some point, like just kind of aiming for like a pathway to a role and like like not a horrendous offense, like that's sometimes the best you can do picking that low. So I kind of think that's what it was. I do wonder if I were in your position, would I have seriously considered Egbuka, because Egbuka was still on the board at the ninth pick. Do you want to tell us like kind of were you between a couple of guys at nine, or was it kind of just like, yeah, like running back spots are so you know tight, and like it's hard to pick them up in the auction and stuff, like so did it make it easy, or was it kind of like, like who, like where do we go with this pick?
Yeah, I think for me at the time, I was thinking between three guys
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, it was Caleb, Igbuka, and Matthew Golden. Those
Mm,
were the three that I was looking at.
mm-hmm.
I was really close to picking Golden,
Mm-hmm.
actually,
Mm-hmm.
really, really
Yep.
close. Then I thought about it. I was like, Caleb, it's the same thing with Hampton, right? I think you
Mm-hmm.
kind of nailed it. Like I kind of thought the same thing that he'll get the surefire yards, and
Mm, yeah, yeah,
he'll be what I thought at the time the lead guy
yeah,
on the Steelers.
yeah,
So I was like, yeah, picking a lead guy this late is pretty good,
yeah.
actually.
He's not
But
that
little did I
different.
know that I picked a backup. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
he's not that
that's what I was
different.
thinking.
He's not that different from what like Najee ended up being in the pros. Like I thought he was gonna kind of like come in and be the Najee role, a little bit smaller than Najee, but
Yeah,
like,
I thought he would get one or the first and second down. I
yeah,
know there was
exactly,
reports
exactly.
about the
Yeah,
pass
yeah,
pro, and that's fine. Like I was
yeah,
like, that's okay. I don't think
yeah,
I expected him to
yeah,
catch too many passes. I just wanted him to get the first and second down,
yeah,
get some of the red zone opportunities. That's really
yeah.
what I was thinking. Because when you think about Jalen Warren, he's a great back. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
no knocking him.
Yep.
I think he's amazing. But I think of him more as that third down pass
Yeah,
catching
for
back,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I thought, okay. And I forgot that they have Kenny Gainwell. Didn't think that they would put Kenny Gainwell
Mm-hmm.
ahead of Caleb
Yeah,
Johnson. But that's what happened. And that's
yeah,
that's Arthur Smith. That's Aaron Rodgers.
yeah.
That's Mike Tomlin.
Right.
It is what it is.
I
So
think I
I'll eat it
think
until next year.
Yep.
It's fine.
I think, well, yeah, I don't think the book is closed on him, but I think the worst thing you could do in a Aaron Rodgers offense, or Aaron Rodgers team in general, I think, is like make a mental error. Like, even if it's a,
Whoops.
yeah, even if it's an okay mental error, like he's definitely not gonna like forgive you for a pretty long time, right? And like like I think costing them maybe the second game, or like at least making such a bad error that it made it a lot harder for them to come back. Uh, I think that's gonna have him in the doghouse for a pretty long time, and that's unfortunate because he wasn't a guy that I was like, oh, the talent will win out, right? He kind of needed to like get his role and then expand trust in like executing that role, and he pretty much, even before he really got that role, he kind of like lost all the trust already. So he's going to be kind of starting from like, you know, zero to try to come back into the mix, right? I will say the good thing, maybe the upside in this is that Jalen Warren does run pretty, high contact for how small he is. So he does tend to like pick up injuries or, miss some games. And Gainwell is a lot more trustworthy right now. But, eventually I think if that offense is struggling, I think one of the ways they're gonna look to, supercharge it is see if not Gainwell can do a little bit more, maybe slightly bigger chunk plays or slightly more of a threat to do stuff or just like change it up just to try to kickstart the offense, right? So yeah, I didn't hate the pick at the time, but it probably has turned out as badly as it could have. I mean, it's only 3 weeks, so like, and it's the ninth pick, so not everyone, people aren't expecting a ton out of this pick anyway, but still probably one of the rougher starts to all the rookies so far.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was told, someone told me during trade talks that he has negative value, which is probably true.
Probably true,
But
honestly, but yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Just watch. Just watch 2026. All right.
Dude, I Stranger
This year
Things.
might be a watch for him.
Yeah, Stranger Things have happened for sure though. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Quentin
2026.
Johnston
Just see.
seemed deep, deep in like the bust. Like, oh, this guy.
Someone put the remind me. Someone put the remind me
Yeah,
2026
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
All right. Let's see where he's
yeah.
at.
And then he'll be
And
playing in
by the
like.
way, I have to go in 10 minutes. So
Okay,
just FYI,
one last
we
team
should
after
probably move
this.
through. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch next year he's playing in like the CFL. That'll be a nice reminder.
God
Not
damn.
no long. Okay. So this is the pick you traded out of. Um and the 3-0 Mars.
Oh.
Yeah, 3-0 Mars has
Oh yeah.
this guy. Did you trade before you were on the clock? Like, before you.
Yes. I traded the day before.
Okay.
The
So you
day
didn't, yeah.
before. Not even like
Right, right.
yeah. That the I think like again when I was projecting the draft, I didn't know Hunter would go second, but I
Yeah.
figured those three would go top three. And
Mhm.
then at four, I was like, I don't really like any of these guys,
Yeah.
so I just traded out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about Trevion from what you've seen?
Oh, I think he's electric. I think this guy, like, he's one of those guys that he could take it the distance. Like,
Mhm.
he's just really, really just an electric athlete, right?
Yep.
I think people went crazy in the preseason. That's typical with this
Mhm.
game, right?
Yeah.
I think he's one of those home run hitters. But sometimes with those home run hitters, they might not be good with again those smaller gains, and
Mhm.
maybe it's like the anti Hampton, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just sometimes you need that in your game. Like Gibbs. Gibbs is a good example. Jameer Gibbs can do everything. He
Yeah.
could do the small little gains, but he also can hit the home run.
Mhm.
So I think that's a little bit of where Trevion can be a little bit better. I do think his pass pro is pretty good, so he should have a role
Mhm.
as the pass pro guy. But apparently, he's not been doing good in pass pro
Yeah,
recently.
he got called
So
for like two holdings on pass protection and then
that's not good.
missed one, but
Oh man.
yeah, his thing was like, oh, like the most pass pro ready guy in this draft,
Yeah, I
right?
thought
Yeah.
so too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean the good thing is Ramondre Stevenson and Gibson cannot stop fumbling, right? So like
Oh my
this
god.
is this is like if Caleb Johnson had that special teams error and then the next week like Jalen Warren fumbled it like three times and Gainwell fumbled it twice. That's kind of what the situation would be, except it's not happening that way in Pittsburgh and it is happening that way here. Um I do think they want to like bring him in slowly, but the fumbles are gonna kind of just give him a chance a little bit earlier, maybe than he thought. I think the other thing is though, like the Patriots GM might kind of be bad at his job. Like I recently saw like uh his like draft picks with the Patriots. Cole Strange, who they took in the first round, they cut like 2 years after they drafted him.
Jalen
Um,
Polk, remember that
yeah,
guy?
Jalen Polk, they drafted in the second round and then got traded for like a seventh round just 1 year later. It's hard for a guy to lose that much value in 1 year, right? And like almost all the rest of his other guys, like on the offensive end especially, have been minor to major busts. So uh, that offensive line might, not be any good. That offense overall might kind of be a little bit more mid than I think some people thought they were gonna make, a little bit of a jump this year with Vrabel and McDaniel's. But Vrabel isn't an offensive innovator, right? I think I think Vrabel might stabilize their team over Mayo, but like that offense could still be kind of ugly. So I think this, as explosive as Henderson is, like he just might not be in on a team where he can kind of utilize it that much. Like he needs like holes open for him to like really hit those home runs, and like he's gonna find it hard to kind of just create all of it himself if that offensive line isn't opening up holes for him. So
Yeah, I mean, I think he's more of a third down back. Like he
yeah,
just, but
yeah,
a really, really electric one. Like
yep,
one of probably the best third down backs in the
hmm,
league, probably at
yep,
his peak. But yeah, I don't see him ever being like Christian McCaffrey or anything like that.
hmm,
Personally, like I
yeah.
don't think he has the skills in between the tackles
Yeah. I think
to do it.
overall this is
But
like
that's
a
my take.
yeah, overall this is pretty underwhelming in terms of the high end like of this draft. Like I'm not see just 3 weeks in, I'm not seeing any of these guys and being like, "Oh, that's going to be, an RB, fantasy RB1 in 3 years," or, "Oh, this wide receiver is going to be a top 3 wide receiver," and like none of the guys so far have really stood out to me that way. I see some guys that are decent and have a good role, and some guys that are wait and sees. Like you gotta wait a little bit to see if um they can show us more. But uh yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean, I think for me, it's Genti. Genti is the main
mhm,
guy, but other than him, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of the guys are kind of similar
yeah, yeah. That's
in
why
value.
that's why
Yeah,
I thought trading down for you was actually a pretty good idea. Like it was hard to really say for sure that whether the third pick overall was going to be that much better than the ninth pick overall. I think the guys that you actually end up taking like so far looks like you know oh yeah, like Caleb Johnson does look bad, but like at the time of the draft, I was like, I don't know. Like somebody could take Caleb Johnson like fifth or fourth, and I wouldn't have really blinked too much, just
yeah,
because I'm not too sold on like really everyone else in this draft. So
yeah. This draft could have gone many different ways
yeah,
because of how, again, close in value I thought it was. I mean, I do think Trevion Henderson before the season started, his value just skyrocketed
yep,
again because of that
yeah,
one
preseason,
preseason play,
yeah, yeah, for sure,
and he was getting drafted way too high
yeah,
in regular drafts, but yeah, I think at the moment of the rookie draft, it was pretty even.
for sure, for sure. Okay, so that's all the first round picks. We can definitely revisit this, like whenever you have time again, kind of like see what's changed since we looked at it, and then next time we could also even look at some non first round pick guys, because actually some of the non first round pick guys are fairly interesting, right? And Jackson Dart is starting this week, so we'll have some like new information to kind of analyze and discuss next time.
Yeah, that tweet doesn't inspire confidence though. I mean, hopefully he leads the Giants to the number one overall pick because
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm
I don't
not
know.
I'm not in
Again, we'll
on
see.
Dayball either. Like I think Dan Jones looking so competent like right away. It just shows the gap between Steichen, who is I think an actual good offensive mind, and Dayball, who kind of just got lucky with Josh Allen, like being around Josh Allen when Josh
Oh,
Allen
he's an
did his
offensive
thing.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, yeah, it's a good point.
So yeah, thanks for doing the segment.
Yeah, thank
Yeah, I'll
you.
let you go. We'll talk again. I think it's always fun to just talk, even if it's not for a certain purpose. I just like talking about fantasy football outside of even necessarily the HFFL slant. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
hopefully
for
it's
being
more
on.
exciting in the back half of the
Yep.
year, and yeah, these AI graphics are awesome. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right,
really good stuff.
all right. Thanks. Peace.
All right, thanks. See ya.